The observer effect of quantum mechanics happens when observation or measurement changes the nature of a quantum particle. From a probability wave, which is an unreal thing, to a real thing. This is by far one of the biggest controversy and achievement of the modern world. Controversy for atheism that has pervaded our scientific circles, and achievement for theistic traditions, especially Islam. Why do I say Islam? Because the observer effect of quantum physics was already predicted by the Quran a millennium and a half ago. Immediately after the weird behavior of quantum particles was discovered, the next question that was asked by the founders of quantum theory was, life is also made up of atoms, so does life also behave in this controversial manner? Listen to these words carefully. سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق أولم يكف بربك أنه على كل شيء شهيد. In future, we will show them our signs in the universe and within their own selves, their consciousness or their physiology, until it will become clear to them that He is the truth, the real, Annahul Haq. Is it not enough for them to know about your Lord that it is He who is observant over everything? Ala kulli shay'in shaheed. What is interesting about this verse is that firstly it anticipates future discoveries in astronomy and cosmology, fil afaq, and these discoveries will also extend to human consciousness and physiology, wa fi anfusihim, something which is common to both microscopic and macroscopic worlds. Nothing other than quantum mechanics fits this description. Especially because the central theme of quantum mechanics is that the world around us, including us, is not physically, objectively real. The verse then says, the consequence of these new developments in cosmology and physiology would be to necessarily conclude, the existence of an all-observing intelligent being, Annahu ala kulli shay'in shaheed, who represents the only objective reality. Since everything else is not objectively, physically real, the only objective reality would be this all-observing intelligent being, Annahul Haq, apart from whom nothing else can be called real. The most important point to understand by any serious student of science is that the observer effect is not just an anomaly or a counterintuitive mishap that just happened in one experiment. The observer effect is a meta-phenomenon. It presides over all processes, equally valid to all pure state quantum events. It is a fundamental quality of the quantum world that makes up everything in the universe, that it is sensitive to conscious observation. This is not just an accident, rather a basic mechanism of how the universe functions at its fundamental level. So whenever we hear the phrase a pure quantum event, we must know with surety that conscious observation will affect it. Understand is that the quantum world is not only affected by our observation, the quantum world does not have any physical existence. It does not exist in our three-dimensional universe. It is our conscious observation that makes it real. Something that occupies space has properties. Until then, it is just a wave of probabilities, not a wave of energy or matter, a mathematical wave or a collection of all the possibilities that the particle has. And when we observe it, it takes up one or the other of its possibilities. So if the universe at its core has no physical reality and it is our conscious observation that makes it real, then what is the necessary conclusion that we are left with? It is that the conscious observation or consciousness is the most fundamental thing to the universe. It's not matter, it's not space or time. All are emergent. The most fundamental thing to the universe is consciousness. When we have completely absorbed these 2 points, that the quantum world is an unsettled collection of possibilities, and it is our conscious observation that gives it reality, then we very well know that there are quantum events going on in the universe at each and every fraction of a second. We occupy a very insignificant portion of the vast expanding universe. We have to understand that when we look around the world, we see a real 3-dimensional physical universe. We don't see any fuzzy wave of probability. From the deep recesses of the planet, ocean beds, uninhabited forests, islands, think about the solar system, the Milky Way, the cores of stars where all the elements that we are made up of are manufactured. That's carbon, oxygen, calcium, iron. Also, violent explosions of stars or supernovae that produce all the heavy elements that we see around us. Okay, what about the horizons of black holes, in the cells of plants, in the eyes of birds, in the fertilization of an embryo, in the germination of seeds, in the growth of a human being, inside the brains of living beings, in the evolutionary process at the beginning of everything, at the beginning of the universe itself. Quantum mechanics lies at the root of all of these phenomena. I ask you, what is this consciousness that is present everywhere in the universe, from the beginning of time till the end of the universe, and everywhere in between, observing everything in such a subtle manner at the fundamental level of existence? Again, I say the observer effect is a meta-phenomenon. It is not just an anomaly that can be easily ignored or left for philosophers to discuss or undermine by suggesting other highly deterministic and philosophical interpretations. The observer effect is here to stay, and the most scientific thing to do is to deal with it. It is as applicable in the double-slit experiment as it is in nuclear reaction in stars, in the retina of birds, in the photosynthesis of plants, in the formation of a human being in the uterus, in cell division, in the evolutionary process. At the beginning of the universe. The beginning of the universe is actually a quantum event, a pure state quantum event. The universe as a whole has a universal wave function, that is, a collection of all possibilities it could potentially realize. But when we look around, we don't see the wave function. We see a real 3-dimensional universe. Why? Because there is someone observing the entire universe from the beginning to the end. This is the absolute consciousness. Here is science itself proving the existence of a conscious, intelligent being who is ever present and ever observant of each and everything that is happening in the entire universe.